What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wheels Fall Off podcast. I am your host, Candace, also known as Spice from SpiceLifeTv, and this is my beautiful husband and co-host, Creed.
How y'all doing, y'all? And welcome to the podcast where we talk about relationships, reentry, particularly as it pertains to incarcerated individuals.
And why is that, babe?
Because I did 23 and a half years, and this woman was with me the whole time. And we fought for justice, we fought for love, we fought for Black empowerment, and we're going to continue that fight today.
And we are just here to share those experiences with y'all and to take you on this journey because we are reintegrating him into the community and just into our relationship. Yeah. So we are going to do this until the wheels fall off, and we just want y'all to be with us.
Absolutely.
So let's go.
Let's get it cracking.
All right, so today we are going to start this segment with our Ice Grill section because y'all have been asking some questions.
Oh boy.
So we got a couple questions for you today, baby. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so one of the questions that has been come up a couple times actually, especially after that episode where we talked about the guards and some of how they were peering in on you in the shower. Mm-hmm. They want to know what the showers are like. So is it like you have a stall? Do you all just have a community shower? Are there a bunch of... Explain the showers and how they're different, where they're different.
Okay. Bear with me on this, y'all, because showers are different everywhere in the institution. So when you're in the main institution, and when I say main institution, it's a closed custody type institution. The main institution is going to have a shower where it's going to be community because they're going to literally want to be able to see everything that's going on. A lot of violence happens in the closed custody institutions. Closed custody means maximum, so y'all out there who don't know. So my experience was when I first got incarcerated, I was at Walla Walla and I was in a 40-man shower. So it's literally a big room, a big shower room, all tiled up, and you have 20 shower heads on the walls all the way around the room. Big open space, one bench where you can put your towels and your drawers. And
so 40-man shower or 20-man shower with 40, what did you say?
It's 40 people, but there's 20 shower heads.
Okay.
So that's why I said bear with me. So here's where it is. You got 40 guys that boom, they let people out on the tier and everybody goes down to the shower, 40 men down there. So
this is what you were telling me the other day.
Yeah, so if you're showering, you got 20 people in the shower, you got other 20 people waiting. So one guy's getting wet, he's rinsing off or whatever, and then he steps out and soaps up his rag, and the other guy steps up under the shower, and then he gets wet. So while he's getting wet, that guy is washing his body, good soap all over his body, and then he might tell the guy in the shower, "Hey man, let me get wet." So then
let me get wet.
That's literally what they say. So he's like, "Let me get wet." So the dude steps out of the shower head, and then he steps in and rinses all the soap off of him and everything. And
that's
how that works. And so in this 40-man shower, what I didn't tell you the other day is there's a big glass there where the officer sits and watches. So in case there's a fight, jump off or anything, they can be on it. There ain't no cameras in there. And I don't know why it's the difference between a camera and a grown man sitting up there watching you in the shower, but the officer is sitting behind tinted glass and he's just watching you shower the whole time. And you have...
Well, probably if there's cameras, they're probably not wanting to record people naked in the shower.
Yeah, I mean, I get that now. I'm just saying that somebody's looking,
yeah,
you know?
I know, that's weird.
And so when you're in the shower, you got 15 minutes to do that. And that's the daunting part about it because you working all day, it's hot in closed custody, there's no air conditioning, you sweating, you want to take longer than a 15-minute shower, right? And you got to share a shower head. So that actually turns into like a 7-minute shower in actuality.
So y'all split the 15 minutes.
Split the 15 minutes, you grab your stuff. And here's the nasty part we never even really peep. When you go into the shower, I told you there's a bench there that you put your towel and your rag and your soap dish and your drawers on, but you also have to bring down your ice bucket. So your ice bucket container, because you got to do showers and ice, what they call showers and ice at one time. You got to get your ice after the shower. But everybody got their ice containers in the shower with everybody. So dead skin and soap and the mist and all that is all over you. But we never paid attention to that.
That's nasty.
But yeah, you got to you got your ice pitcher there on the bench, and you just grab it after you dry off and go.
That is not hygienic
Go around the corner and get your ice and you go. That's close custody. Then when you go to medium custody or minimum custody, you will have a stall, but it varies between having a curtain that goes across or a stall with a door. But either way, it's only coming up to here, to your chest, and it's only going down as far as your knees because they still need to be able to look in and see if you got another person in there with you, if there's sexual activity going on, if there's an assault going on somehow. So they want to be able to see that. So you'll usually have on each tier a 3 stalls for 3 people. And then you have other people just standing on the tier waiting with all their shower gear, waiting for the next guy to come out and the next guy goes in. So you're in the shower doing your thing and you got a guy hanging out here just waiting for you. So you got the pressure to hurry up, you know what I'm saying? Just be considerate, because prison conflicts usually happen for inconsideration. When people feel like you're being inconsiderate, that's usually when it always goes down. I got you. So so when you're in medium and minimum, you have kind of a different level of privacy, but at the same time, it's not really that private. You know, it's crazy, it's daunting. But
so you said it goes down because of inconsideration, and the inconsideration is what?
So the inconsideration, like for the shower situation, you will be in the shower and the guy wants to go in there and take a 20-30 minute shower when people are obviously sitting out there waiting. When you see somebody waiting, the onus is on you to take a 7-10 minute shower, get in and get out, because guys are coming from work, guys come from working out, that type of thing. And so the consideration isn't a factor. Same thing with eating. When you're in the chow hall, you know, everybody, of course, every race and has their different groups or whatnot. But if you're not considerate and give person a certain amount of feet, certain amount of room, that's called inconsideration. It's gonna go down, you know. So those type of things you have to always be cognizant of when you're incarcerated. But getting back to the shower, that's the difference between showers between maximum versus medium and minimum, but that's how they look. So when I was telling you that they could peek down, I'm standing in a stall and it's only coming up to, the door is only coming up to here on my chest and down here on my knees. So it's very easy for a person to walk up the stairs and look right down and you can see everything, you know? So yeah, that's how it is. And the shower literally probably about, I would say probably about 4 feet wide to 6 feet deep. So it's not very big, you know? Why you look like that?
Okay, so what's the difference? Like, explain the showers in jail.
So in jail, it's a little bit different because when I was incarcerated in jail, you have pods, you have a whole tank, and you have one shower over there in the tank where everybody's playing cards and everything. You just have one shower over there and just one big long curtain. Nobody can see anything. That's the difference. So in jail, it's a little bit more, they're a little bit more conscious of your privacy, I think, versus Department of Corrections.
You're not guilty yet.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of people are getting in, or going through the system in and out very quickly. And so I'm pretty sure if something was to happen, they can report that very fast. Something happens you get assaulted in prison, you forget about it 3-4 years later. You ain't thinking about getting out and reporting that. Yeah. You know, but yeah, county's a little bit different. It's a little bit more privacy.
Okay, and on the same level of that, the second question we're going to talk about today is explain the difference between jail and prison. When someone says, oh, he went to jail, and maybe he really went to prison, or oh, he went to prison and really it was just jail. What's the difference as far as how you get sentenced to them, or like what's the time, you know what I mean? And then I guess the overall difference of what they are doing time.
Jail, county jail, you go there when you get arrested for a crime and you're either awaiting trial or you get convicted of a misdemeanor or a felony, but the misdemeanor or felony is less than a year. In order to go to prison, you have to have a day over a year. And there's a lot of guys that's in DLC that were sentenced to a year and a day just because the judge wanted to make sure they went to prison.
Or I've heard guys ask for that so that they could do their year in prison because he'll tell you it's a little bit better than jail.
Yeah, because prison, as far as comfort level wise, you find guys that would rather do a year and a day in prison than to do 6 months in jail. 6 months in jail feels like 2 years because, I mean, you don't got no shoes, you ain't got no clothes, you got the prison jumpsuit, you know, and
it's constant turnover.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drug addicts, people who are coming in that are high and they're getting off or, you know, coming down from that.
100%.
And then they're having to do their whole detox there. It's just, it's a different.
And in prison, I can buy food that I can cook. Yeah. And in jail, you got to buy food that you know, basically can eat out of a package, you know, and I think it might have changed now to where they got stuff like ramen, you can use boiling water. But when I fell, it was like you can only buy cookies and, you know, stuff like that, and beef and cheese sticks. And you have to buy a little Kool-Aid in a little packet. You never have you don't get ice.
That would be interesting. So he fell over 25 years ago. So if someone has done that recently and can tell us what county is like or how county's different, if you can have food, we'd love to know.
Yeah,
we haven't been there in a minute.
Yeah, enlighten us for real.
And we'll never be back.
No, we ain't going back. We'll
All right.
Again.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Don't do nothing to go to either one of them places.
Don't do nothing to go to either one of them places.
It ain't the place for you. I don't care who you are, what background you come from. Don't do nothing to go to them places because it's not for you. It's not built for a human. You know?
Agree.
And I don't care how good you think you living in prison. you are dehumanized and desensitized in a lot of different ways. Don't do it. It's not for you.
You're even desensitized to how dehumanized you've been.
100%.
For however long you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even realize that you've been literally verbally abused and mentally abused on top of the trauma of just being in prison. But it's a lot.
And this the
desensitization.
Oh boy. Being desensitized comes from just daily seeing somebody who looks at you like you're less than. And you don't see it as it's happening. It's a gradual process to the point where now at first you kind of notice that it's happening, but it's not something that you can put your finger on. And then you get to the point where you don't even see it no more. It's part of everyday life. If somebody looks at you, treats you in a way and talks to you in a way that says you're less than human, then you become that in a lot of ways.
So how do you stop that?
You got to be mentally strong. That's the only way.
Okay.
Because there is no reporting it. There is no talking to the person that's doing it, and you're not going to change a person overnight. It's literally being mentally strong and setting an example to the people that are doing it to you that you are better than that. And then they start treating you a little bit better than the rest of the people, but they don't necessarily treat you human.
So here's where my psychology thoughts come in. COs, they work there. I guess that's what they think that they're supposed to do. But I don't know, like, how do you just do that at work and then you don't take that and do that crap home? How are you someone who can be so demeaning and degrading and on purpose, and then you're trying to tell me that you got a wife that is not that at home? You haven't beat down your kids verbally. It's hard for me to believe that is something you can turn off. How do you turn off being top cop, everybody listening to you, you sick off this power?
Yeah.
And is it because you don't have no power at home, or do you go home and be that same terrorist at home?
Well, in my experience, I've never been able to put my finger on it because I don't know any CEOs personally, any former CEOs. But what I do know is the consensus amongst us is that this person doesn't have any power at home, and they take it out on us. This person gets beat down. It could be by his wife. It could be by his friends.
But one that was beating his wife.
Oh, I know of one. Yeah, he was high up, and the cool part about it is they didn't even look at that as an infraction on him bad enough to let him go. He got demoted a couple times and then got promoted above what he was before he got demoted.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So clearly they're not trying to build people stronger, of course. We know that, but I don't think what the society knows. I think society thinks that you're going in prison to be rehabilitated, and that the people in there come in there every day ready to just help you be better. And that's why I think a lot of times there's so much pushback on when we talk about how there's a lot of people that are in prison that shouldn't be, or that the sentences are too long. I think people think that the people there are not just assholes.
They are.
I think they think that these are good-hearted people that want to make a change and help the world. And I'm sure there are a pocket of those. I'm sure there's some in the group. I'm not saying all of them, but I feel like I can confidently say the majority are no different than the rest of the police officers. And these guys are even worse because they couldn't cut it as police officers, so they got to be COs, if you ask me.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10.
So now they got that chip on their shoulder because they couldn't do it out here with the real folks. I'm not saying y'all ain't real, but where it supposedly counts. So they go inside, and now they get this power that they can execute that they couldn't chop the what is it? What's the phrase? Chop the biscuits or hold the mustard or whatever the phrase is.
Let's go hold the mustard.
They couldn't cut the mustard out here.
Cut the mustard.
That's what it is. They couldn't cut the mustard out here. They go in there and they just start acting a fool.
Yeah, what I learned is the misconception about rehabilitation, because you mentioned that, where you say people think that you're just being there rehabilitated and people just coming in like trying to make you better. Rehabilitation is a personal choice, period.
And that's all. That's because that's the only option.
That's the only option, but at the same time, you have to do it in spite of how you're being treated every day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the only option because they're not offering it.
Yeah.
So you have to decide.
You have to decide, and you have to do the work yourself because, and I said this to you before, like, there's a lot of people don't understand. If you're out here on the streets, if you want to change your life, you still have to work your job and pay your bills and figure out how to change. Versus us up in there, we've been set down, pulled out, and you have all the time in the world to make whatever changes you need to make. You need to face whatever traumas you had to face. At least acknowledge them, you know, to some degree. And you have time to do that because you're not working a job, paying bills every single day like somebody on the streets. So I don't want to say there's no excuse for rehabilitating yourself. What I'm saying is you have the opportunity to do it. And some people do take advantage of it. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't. And that's why you have such high recidivism rates. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, ain't nobody in there doing nothing for us. Nobody.
This is, I love this. This is becoming my favorite segment.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I just love that the questions are coming from our people and we're answering them and just giving
insight.
Yeah, because I've had the comment of when they've sent the questions, like, I hope this isn't a dumb question. And I'm always like, please, there's no such thing as a dumb question, because I've even edited some of the videos and been like, oh, I should have probably explained what that meant. We've done it so long that we're just so used to it. And certain things that we would never think would be interesting to y'all find interesting. So these questions, I love them, for one, just to see what sparks interest for y'all. But then when we're talking about it, it just brings up a lot of stuff. Like, not necessarily bad stuff, but it kind of reminds me of things that I forgot about, and just kind of like that whole dynamic and remembering how that guard, just the attitudes that they always had and the chip on their shoulder. And I'm just so happy to be done with that bull.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, ask y'all questions, because there's a lot of y'all that don't know. But there's even more y'all that think y'all know.
Oh, yeah.
That y'all think y'all know because y'all hear the bullshit.
Or you watch some movie.
Or you watch
some
dumbass movie, and it's not like that at all. So ask your questions and get it from the real.
That's what's up. All right, let's move on to the next segment.
What's the next segment?
So Mary sponsored our first Got Munchie segment, and that's where we tried the licorice, that some of it was kind of salty, and then we had the hazelnut chocolate. But we loved that segment. We enjoyed doing that so much. And I just liked that the food was from another country. Her son went to the Baltics and brought back that stuff for us. So I was like, I was inspired. Let me find one that's a snack box, so we could try to get us some different treats to try from around the country.
You did that.
Babe ain't got his passport yet, so we ain't even just going.
We got to bring it to us.
We got to bring the country to us right now.
You got to bring it to us.
We're working on that passport, y'all.
Respect.
All right. So today, where we're going, we're taking a little trip. I don't want to give the box name or the people the credit, because they ain't paying us. Until they do, we're just going to say we're taking a trip to India.
No doubt. No doubt. Let's go.
So excited. So I, for one, love me some Indian food. And I'm excited to see what they got for us. So it looks like they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to get 6 treats to try. Some sweet, some savory. They're all around the world. I mean, the treat box comes from around the world. But today we're going to try from India.
Okay.
All right. So what are those called? What's the first thing?
These are called Maska Chaska.
Maska Chaska 50-50. Got to show, babe. This is how.
Oh, my bad.
This is how the wait. Oh, there's the camera.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, the Maska Chaska.
It looks like a
Go
cracker.
ahead. It looks like a savory cracker. It's like herbs. I mean, can we do a 1, 2, 3?
Oh, my bad.
Greedy.
I'm hungry, babe.
Okay.
Let me try another one. Move with you. That's not bad.
No, these are good. You know that little cheese I have at home? That goat cheese spread? Bomb.
I feel like I had a cracker like this.
It's almost like a chicken biscuit.
That's
chicken
what
in
it
a
is.
biscuit, but not as salty.
Yeah.
It's a less salty chicken in a biscuit.
I like them.
What? Okay.
India, y'all did y'all thing with them.
So these are crackers, but I see why they're calling them kind of biscuity. They call them biscuits.
Let me get another one.
They're thin. They're not super thick. But
No, babe, that's you.
what's me?
Super thick. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm like, what's me?
I can appreciate.
Yeah, I could
I
get
like
with
them.
these. Yeah, those are gonna get 8.
I can't. There's a hint of a taste of something in there when I first bite into it. I can't.
It's an herb.
Is that what it is? Yeah. It's kind of funky, but then it just.
I don't know what you taste. It might be funky, but it's good.
It's good.
All right, what are we doing next?
Okay. This is called Roller Cola. Okay.
Roller Cola. I'm wondering, are
Cola.
those like rolly up? What are those? Roll?
It says it's the solid cola, so I'm thinking it's about like Coke.
Oh, is it a hard candy?
Yeah.
I love me a hard candy. I love candy, period. Oh, it's like package.
It's like a lifesaver.
Lifesavers. Can they see you opening it?
Oh, yeah. It's like a lifesaver, y'all.
Yeah.
See that?
It looks like Coca-Cola.
You go ahead and take one.
I'm gonna smell that.
It kind of smells like.
Ready?
Yeah, go.
Oh, it's definitely pop.
You know I can get with this.
That is some Coke.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that's
like
so
that.
cokey.
Yeah, I'm with that. And we got a couple of these in here too.
We should have saved that because it's hard and I want to finish it. I'm gonna sit mine on this paper because I'm about to finish mine.
Yeah, for real.
That's delicious.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Let's save the other hard candy.
All right, this right here is called
Alu Bougia.
I'm about to try that.
Alu Bougia. Bougia.
Yeah. If I'd have tried to pronounce that, they'd have made a meme.
I think these are like onion straws kind of, but like potato straws, I mean.
You want to let me do that?
Yeah, they're potato snacks. You know me in packages. It ain't my thing.
All right. So this one, you open your hand up and then pour a little bit in there. Can y'all see that?
Smell like?
That's what it looked like.
Oops. They're little shoestring kind of thing.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Yeah. They're like Pringles. Pringle crumbs.
Yeah, it don't really taste like. Does it? No, I feel like it tastes like something.
Yeah, there's a flavor on there. It's spice.
Spicy mint flavored. Extruded potato snack for all ages.
I taste the mint and the spice.
I'm liking that spice kick at the end.
I like the mint.
Yum.
That's interesting.
The
only thing I feel like, the only way you can really eat these is like this. I don't think 100%. This is like, you gotta just.
So you gotta eat it black.
See how those are all crumbs or just little pieces? You gotta just kind of.
All right, now this one I'm scared of. It's called Fab Bourbon. All right, y'all.
What does it say is in it?
Fab Bourbon.
India, you're doing us good.
That spice is kicking.
It is. I like it, but it's at the back of your throat. It's not like in your chest or on your tongue. It's just right at the back of your throat.
It said that these are chocolate flavored sandwich biscuits. Boy. I like a sandwich and a biscuit.
Oh, you love a sandwich cookie. He does.
There you go. And it says bourbon on the cookie too.
Ooh, and there's like, is that sugar or salt?
Salt, I believe it's salt.
Look, it has little flakes of sugar or salt on it. One of the two.
I like to say it said bourbon on it. Ready? Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get with that.
This is like one of them Keebler. Keebler has a cookie like this. I don't think this is a sandwich though.
I was about to say it's not too sweet, but that sweet kick in.
It's not too sweet though. It's
I like that.
Just sweet. I like it too.
I can go with that.
I like me a snack pack.
Okay.
I like a variety of snacks.
This is where I ain't gonna lie, man. This right here.
I'm in.
This is what I bought in the county all the time when I was waiting for my trial. These wafer cookies. That's what they give you. Wafer
cookies are bomb. They're understated cookies.
They are.
They don't have. They're not super sweet, but it'd be just enough, and you get that crisp.
Yeah.
And it melts in your mouth easy.
Yeah, they're like a home renovation. They're like nary.
You get on my nerves.
You know
get on my nerves.
Okay.
Is it 2 packs in there?
Yeah, but I think it's 2 cookies in this.
You remember when did you ever get the strawberry ones?
Yes, them is bomb. They
Yeah, these smell like, I already know I'm gonna like these. Ready?
All right, ready to go. Yeah.
That's just like vanilla ice cream flavor.
I might eat these tonight.
I like them. Yeah, just near your typical.
It's good.
What are they called?
I think you say wafy.
Wafy?
Wafy.
Open for a surprise activity.
Yeah, I'm with the business on them. I want something sweet quick.
Oh, they gave you sign language.
All right.
Is this it?
No, that's it, except for these little last
Okay, this is our last treat.
This says this is Kiss Me. I'm gonna let you go open that. Just twist.
Or like Kiss Me, maybe.
And she talk about me, y'all.
What?
You was serious with the
It
Kiss
says
Me?
K-I-S-M-I? Maybe it's just another way of being Kiss Me. Come back.
Yeah. All right, we back. Kiss Me.
Kiss Me.
This
What
looks
it
like
say
a
it
sugar
was,
daddy.
though? Yeah, it does look like a sugar daddy.
It really doesn't say much.
It says sugar blended confectionery. Blended. Yeah, it's not really telling us, but it does have like a sugar baby
Sugar daddy
look to it, and feel, honestly.
A little more crispy than like a you remember a little caramel
That
squares?
caramel is not caramel.
Yeah. Oh, it's not.
So, I think we thought it was going to be caramel of the way it looked.
I ain't gonna front though. 5 out of 6 ain't bad.
How'd you get rid of that?
I'll just put it in the paper. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that one. That was not good.
Nah, that ain't my flow right there.
It tastes kind of like medicine.
A little bit.
But I'll do my I'll go back to my Coca-Cola candy in a second.
Yeah, that wasn't really cool.
Okay,
India did their thing though. 5 out of 6 ain't bad.
That's not bad at all. I'm excited to see where they take us next month. Okay, we done cleaned up. You ready to get into this topic?
Let's get into this topic.
Babe, we mentioned before that there's been a lot of people that we've known that got out before us or around the time or after us that within your 3 years of being home have either gone back into the system for one reason or another, or unfortunately have lost their lives. That's happened quite a bit. So let's talk about that a little bit. We have 2 more recent ones that were really kind of significant to us, that were just kind of a shock for what happened, how it happened, and then the end result. But I think I want to kind of know from your perspective of when you hit that 3-year mark, and then you kind of look back to see, because we talked about it a little bit, some of the guys who didn't get that 3-year mark with you or still aren't out here as you hit yours. Talk about what that kind of was for you. How'd that feel like?
What's crazy, like, and speaking on like the 2 individuals you were just referencing, those hurt because we did a lot of time together, and for them to be as tight with me as they were, on the outside it looked like they was ready, and they looked like they was down to do whatever it took to stay on the positive track, and they did the exact opposite almost from day one, it seems like, you know. And like, you know, one of the cases where dude ended up leaving his wife who rode with him like a week after he got out.
Right. She rode with him for 20 years, by the way. So
and that was the beginning of a downward spiral for him. But what I'm noticing, well, first of all, I'll just say what happened. So this particular person gets out. He had a wife. She rode with him for 20 years. And whatever the case, he gets out and ends up immediately communicating with other women and all that, and did her all the way wrong.
All the way wrong.
That's something that, you know, I don't care who you are. I'm not going to sign off on that as being your friend. Not that I have to, but just as being somebody that I hang around with, communicate with, I'm not going to sign off on that. So he gets out and do that, and it does that, and immediately gets another girl pregnant and whatnot. But at the same time, what I didn't know is that he was out here doing drugs, got hooked on meth, was just out here in the bad way. You remember I had a friend that said that he was living in an encampment, and I asked that dude, were you living in an encampment? Because so-and-so said this, and he was like, nah, man, they tripping. Yes, he was. 100%. So he basically got strung out on meth. I ended up seeing him about 6 weeks before he ended up committing the crime. I seen him at a gas station, and I remember I told you immediately after I seen him, like, he talked for 20 minutes. I didn't even say nothing. I didn't tell him how I was doing, how you was doing.
But when you told me that, this guy, that really wasn't a shocker.
It wasn't. It wasn't, because he's one of those guys that he's smarter than everybody. He knows everything, and he needs you to know that he knows everything. Right. So long story short, he ended up killing somebody. He ended up killing a guy who was a delivery worker. Guy sees him at a gas station. And this particular person we're talking about was staring at this delivery driver. And the delivery driver kind of walked over and was like, you all right? You good? And this guy, P, we're going to call him P, P starts saying, you know, basically like, get out my face, and start arguing with him. And dude goes back to his truck. He gets in his truck with his partner. There's two guys delivering.
They're working.
Yeah, they're working. They go back to the job site where they're picking up more materials to go deliver. P ends up following them down to the job site, and dude sees P, gets out his truck again and say, hey man, like, I just seen you at the gas station. You following me? Like, I just asked you, was there a problem? You said no. Why are you down here acting like there is a problem? Mm-hmm. And so they had a war of words, or what have you, and the delivery driver ends up, as he's walking away, P pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Oh, he shot him in the back?
Yeah, from my understanding, he shot him in the back, turned him around and shot him again. I think he shot him a couple times, but the guy ended up dying there. Damn. And P ends up speeding off. There was people that seen him in his car and whatnot, and so he got reported, and I guess the police seen him a couple days later, hit the lights on him. He tried to outrun him. He crashed it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he crashed his car, tried to run, and they caught him, and that's where they arrested him. And so now he's, at this time, when I find out this information, he's in the county jail. He tried, remember I said he thinks he's very smart and whatnot. Here he tried to represent himself in court, and long story short, he got 41 years after just doing 20.
First of all, can we just say, Black people, do not try to represent yourself in court. There have been very few that have done it and have had some level of success. Okay, you might have heard the story, but that is his story. It is not yours, and most likely it will never be yours. So please, if I can say anything that I've learned in this system, if you go to prison or go to jail, get arrested, you need to pay for an attorney if you have the means. If there's any chance that you have the money, do not rely on the fact that you're innocent and this public attorney to make sure that you get out of prison. I would never chance that. That's what I'll say for that. And the next thing I would never do is say that I'm gonna represent myself.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
And I'm gonna tell y'all about another guy, and I'm gonna tie these both in. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna tie them both in. So another guy, a good friend of mine, you know, when we was in prison, you know, played a lot of cards, talk a lot of shit, back and forth. You know, even when I was in work release, he came to my job a couple of times and fed me lunch and whatnot. Right. That was my guy, you know? Yeah. And the sad part about it is while he had a legitimate job that somebody like basically gave him, and he was doing well at that job, he was doing other things on the side, which mirrored what he was doing before he went to prison. This particular person, we're gonna call him
P2.
P2. For real. That's why I stopped, because I'm like, damn, he P2. Damn. So this particular person is coming home from a life sentence. That's the difference with him. He had a life sentence and ended up getting his sentence commuted.
Explain that.
Well, he filed for clemency.
Explain that.
And so after doing a certain amount of time, he basically petitions the state to let him out, based upon the fact that he's been in prison long enough time. He's learned his lesson. He's done certain programs and things that will help him become a productive member of society, and he can prove that. And then he has other people that come to the clemency hearing to vouch for him and say, yes, he's a good guy.
It's like Washington's form of a parole board.
Basically, yes, because Washington does not have a parole board. So he goes through that whole process. He has a ton of support. People that came and said, yes, he's going to do well, and we got him, and we know he's positive.
Dying mother.
Yeah, with a dying mother who held on until he came home.
Man home.
He came home, and like I said, he had a job, but he was doing other things on the side. The same thing that mirrored what he was doing before he came home, which was hustling, you know, buying and selling stolen goods and whatnot. And listen, I get everybody having a hustle. I 100% get that. But when it's detrimental to your success and you continue to go back to it, that's a problem. You know, it's not conducive to you being a positive person. That's a problem. So what ended up happening was, when he was coming to work release and feed me a couple times, like you bringing me lunch and whatnot, like we had a good time and all that, but it hurt because at the time he's doing that, he's doing the negative stuff also. And
he's riding the fence.
He's basically riding the fence. And it wasn't a big deal because it's little hustles. But as time went on, little hustles become big hustles. Yeah. And you start to get bigger nuts about what you're doing and starting to do bigger things. And that's exactly what he was doing. And he was in cahoots with some dude, some street dude, some dope fiend that he was he was dealing with basically came to him and said, I want my portion of what we took, you know? And
so they went in to take something together.
They had already taken something.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let me reverse that. They took something and P2 wanted his portion and the guy wasn't giving it to him. So he ends up seeing him downtown somewhere and pistol whipping the guy in his car. They ain't supposed to have a pistol. You're a former felon, number one, right? Ends up pistol whipping the dude in his car, pops in his car, and as he's driving home, dude already hit the police because he did this around like a homeless encampment. And so when the police came, the homeless people told who it was. Like, yeah, we seen it. It was him. The police met him at his house. As P2 is sticking the key in his door at his apartment, the police is showing up. So I don't know if he got caught with the pistol, but the reports is you pistol whip somebody. So now that's the possession that they're looking for. They end up arresting him as a former felon, three-striker.
So if they don't have proof that he had it,
they listen. They've had less.
Oh yeah, that's true.
and convicted people of possession.
I know. I guess I was just wondering. So for an arrest, though, you don't have to have. You just have to have someone say that you did this to me.
Yeah, you basically have to say that in the commission of this crime that there was a pistol involved. You have witnesses involved, and they can tag you with that. Okay. You know. Yeah. So, but that's not to say he might have had it on him when they arrested him. That part I'm unclear about. But they arrested him, and as a former felon with a pistol, you just committed a crime. You're home on clemency, so you're already a three-striker. He ends up getting arrested, and he's in the county right now as we speak. I don't know what his situation is, but I talked to a friend of mine, and he was like, "Yeah, he looked like he gonna have to at least take a deal for 12."
12? I thought it was gonna be 8.
Yeah, he said he gonna have to take at least a deal for 12.
And he's old.
And he's old. He's already did 25 years. So the reason why when I said I was gonna circle back to both of these, in my experience, the reason why these situations happen is because, as we were talking about earlier in your own rehabilitation, they didn't tackle those issues, those drug issues that they had when they was inside, and they came out to bite them again. When they got out, that was the first thing staring at them is their drug issue. It doesn't go away. Drug issues lie dormant in everybody. Even somebody who goes through a process of rehabilitation is still lying dormant. But if you don't tackle those issues, or if you're still continue to do it in prison under the microscope and people don't see it, because neither one of these guys, I was seeing them do any drugs in prison. And I was around them all the time. But they know I was the type of dude that would be like, come on, man, you know, put that away, man. You're supposed to be doing better. You showing these guys that you're this guy, but you're actually this person. That's an issue. So, so because they didn't tackle these issues, they get out here, start with the drugs. Drugs lead to them reverting to their old life, and their old life take them back to the same place that they was at before. And that's the lesson that nobody seems to learn. And all these years that we've seen people, we've seen our fathers and our grandfathers and our uncles go to prison, we never learn. And then when it's our turn to go, some people still don't learn. The thing is, the first P that I was talking about, he had a kid since he's been home. And that kid might not learn. That's the sad part. That's what I'm trying to get to. So people understand that it's not just about recidivism and going back to prison, but it's also what damage has he done to that boy that we would not see for another 18, 20 years.
Literally, when you were saying that, my stomach started to hurt because I was fighting back tears a little bit because I think that what breaks my heart a lot of times is nobody in the picture, the guy that did the crime or the world after the guy did the crime, ever really thinks about the family. No. They never think about how this is going to devastate the family. You said that little boy, the relationship that he has with his dad, if that is maintained, is always going to be behind the prison. And one thing that we were so adamant to not, I never wanted to have babies that think that visiting room is their living room. Yeah. And if that happened, of course, I'm bringing my kids to see their father. Yeah. When I would see those babies in that freaking prison that's got linoleum floor that's barely clean, it's all these people coming in and out, and these babies running around with their socks on and playing on the floor, and I just no. So now that is the life you've decided that baby is going to have with you. Yeah. And if the mom sticks around, and if it doesn't, then now you got another black baby who ain't got his daddy. Yeah. And to be clear, we're not saying that there's anything wrong with people bringing their kids to prison. What we're saying is that's not a decision. It's not wrong for people that choose to do that. Yeah. We're choosing not to do that. Exactly. And another thing, for those reasons. The first P I was referencing,
because he was doing all these things in prison, looking like he was rehabilitating himself. He was going to school. He was one of the first people inside the prison system to have a laptop.
Yeah.
He got degrees. He got out and had a job offered to him as an engineer, and he was going to a college and he was bringing people into the college to speak. That's how much power he had.
He's not no okie doke. Like, he was a legit dude.
Yeah, he's a legit dude, but he had those issues. Problem. He had those issues. And so I'm telling y'all, people being tired of prison has never stopped nobody from going back. That's never been the thing to stop people going. But there's a ton of people in prison who's tired of it. That's not gonna stop you from going back. You gotta do the work. You have to do the work. I personally struggle with stuff every day because the old me, which is a violent individual, I feel certain things on a daily basis that old nature wants to act on. But because I did the work, I can at least do what I'm supposed to do in those situations. I can act accordingly because I did the work. And that's all we asking. We're telling people, like, just do the work so that you're able to be present in the moment when you get out and make the right decisions then. It's not meaning it's not going to be a struggle, but the right decision being made affects people in a positive way, just like the wrong decision being made affects your family in a negative way. If I get out and do something because my old nature rises up and more powerful, what's going to happen to her? So, and that's the consideration that we all have to have as incarcerated individuals getting out. Like, you have to have consideration for the people that's down with you.
Out of the guys, which there's been quite a few, but out of those guys, how many of them would you say would have, or that, was it recidivized? Is that the word? When they've done something?
Yeah, they're recidivized. Due
to their drug issue. Because I think that's a big thing that needs to be talked about too, is that it's not necessarily that guys are just getting out here because they just want to kill people. They do kill people, but it's because there's a drug addiction that's attached to it a lot of times, or there's the drug addiction's attached to the crime that happens. You know what I mean?
100%.
I'm not taking away from the fact that you murdered someone. I'm saying that there's that drug issue is the one that's not been addressed at all, and then that led to that. And I don't think a lot of people consider that.
No, you're 100% right. And I honestly think that of everybody that I know that is either dead or back in prison or we can't find them right now, I'm gonna say at least 85-90% of them it's a drug issue.
There's one that we can't find right now, and that one is really breaking my heart because we were talking with him all the way through work release, or no, it wasn't work. He was at a halfway, like home monitoring, and we would go visit. We brought him food. We got him all of those clothes, and we did a lot for him. And we were getting so excited because he was getting to the point where he was getting off of his monitoring, and then he was going to come over for dinner, and we were going to go out to dinner with his new lady. Like there's all these talks, and he was talking to us at least bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And he got to his date. Literally, he got to his date. I think we talked to him once or twice after he got to his date with his monitoring off. And I'd asked him, like, so when are we going to meet your lady? Like, when are we going to get this going? And he's like, I had to let her go. And he was saying he let her go because of some, like, issues that she was doing that was not something he wanted to deal with anymore. So I was like, okay, well, that's good. You're, peeping that. And then I texted him a few times, and he loved me. So he always would text me back. And so I started asking Babe, because a lot of times I'll end up communicating with his friends more than he does, just because he's not a big phone guy. So they'll text me because they'll know they'll get an answer. So I let Babe know, like, hey, I've hit up old boy a few times, and I haven't heard from him. And then he started calling him, and the same thing. And now it's been a couple months.
It's been longer than that. Like we went on our cruise, I believe, in May. And that's the last time I talked to him, because he called me while we were...
And he got off his thing in April.
Yeah, and he called me, and then when we came back, we were supposed to communicate. And that's not to say that he is on drugs. I hope he's doing well. But 9 times out of 10, in my experience, cats, they go missing because they don't want to be around people that's going to call them out for what they're doing. And so they feel like, respectfully, I'm not going to go around them. And that's kind of what his forte was. I pray to God that he's all right. I pray to God he's not on that, because it's always led him back to prison. And he's old too. He's older too. And so he don't really have that many years left.
You know, it's like with him, I've been just thinking about, like, every time we would go see him and talk to him, you know, he has a way about him that, you know, he used to live that life, that it's very clear.
Yeah.
But I honestly just really thought he seemed like he wanted it so bad, and he did everything you're supposed to do on home monitoring. He was working every day, overtime. He was getting raises and promotions. He bought himself a car. Like he just.
But those are things that he's always known how to do. Because I remember he used to work jobs. He used to get raises. He used to do all that, even when he was on the streets doing his thing, you know, and not promoting it, but he used to be a pimp. And he was very successful at it. But even before he did that, he was very successful at working legitimate jobs and moving up. So that's never been an issue for him. He goes to prison. But then when he goes to prison, he does the same thing. He moves up, and then he's very likable, and everybody loves him. He's a hard worker. But then when I think back on my time with him, and I say he didn't, but during my time with him, I never seen him take a drug course. I never seen him take any type of drug rehabilitation course. So that comes back to not tackling these issues that you go to prison for. And then thinking because you haven't done it in years and you get out, it's over, and it's not.
And a lot of times, if it's not in your judgment or sentence and they didn't require you to take the drug course, the guys won't take it. But is it still offered to them? Do they have that option?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I know that there was some things you couldn't do because of your time and stuff. I didn't know if that was the case.
When it came to any type of drug or alcohol thing, that didn't fall under the purview of why they wouldn't let me take that. I was trying to take like computer classes and educational classes, and they wouldn't do it because of my time structure, and they wanted to give it to people who had less time than me first. And so it was like, damn, I can't learn. But that was offered all the time, and he may have taken it when he first started his time and maybe was done with it. But you know as well as I do, you gotta continue that. You know, it's not like taking an IT course.
And I mean, if I'm the lady of a man who I know had that as this history, I think that if I know what I know now, it would be to encourage that, is constantly talking about that drug and alcohol issue, addressing it, making sure that you have resources for them if they need to do a rehab or some kind of I don't know what those courses are, but to just really encourage that while they're in there, to be addressing that, because drugs get in prison. They're in there, and they can probably be doing less where it's not appearing that they might have been where they were, you know, how they would have acted before when they're out being just high and have unlimited access. But it happens.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
a lot.
Being in prison, taking a business course, taking an entrepreneurial course, taking all these courses, and then telling your girl like, yeah, we're gonna get out, we're gonna start our own business. I'm gonna start my own line of this, and I'm gonna start my own that. That's sexy to somebody who's out there and doing they see that. You. Yeah, but they see you coming home. To them, that's like, that's who I want to be with. Yes, exactly. Me coming to a person saying, I'm about to take this drug course, that's not sexy. That doesn't appeal to the incarcerated individual to want to say to somebody and they want to be with you when you get out. Unfortunately, that should be the case. And
I think that I don't know. To me, no, you necessarily having a drug problem is not sexy, but you addressing it, acknowledging it, and dealing with it, that's sexy.
And it's also not sexy to the population, because don't get it twisted, they trying to impress the cats that's living there too. And so even though cats are clowning you for getting an education, you know, nobody cares that you going to take this damn 12-step program. Nobody's paying attention to that. But when you walking with books in your hand and you taking this entrepreneurial course, people be like, people might be like, okay, he's doing his thing. But nobody's saying that when you complete the drug course. Nobody's saying, he's doing his thing. He really doesn't want to come back. Yeah, he really doesn't want to come back. So the sexy stuff, I keep using the word sexy because I'm saying it's appealing to the culture. It's appealing to everybody to say, you know, he's going to get out and do his thing and make all this money. But it first starts with tackling your issues. You ain't gonna make nothing. They can give you a pot of gold when you get out on the streets. If you ain't tackled your issue, you gonna fuck it all off.
And we're not saying that drugs are the only issue. It's whatever the issue is that landed you in prison. That's what you need to tackle.
Yeah, because like drugs was never my issue, right? My issue was always violence. My issue was always like I'm killing ants with a sledgehammer. I take it too far. You know, that was my issue. And what did I do? Like I took courses to that focused on that for me. And not only did it focus on the violent part of me, but it also focused on acknowledging and making amends for what I did.
Acknowledging your part.
Acknowledging my part.
Yeah.
And basically like saying, okay, I was wrong in that. And no matter what I felt, how I was justified in the crimes I committed against people, I have to acknowledge that if I hadn't have been like I wouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Mm-hmm. So tackling that issue has helped me. And even like I said, even though it's still a struggle to this day, I still tackled it to the point where I can get through it in real time out here on the streets and stay out here. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah, man, this is kind of a heavy one.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy because I miss all of them.
I just hate prison so bad. I hate prison so bad. But I'm never going to be one that thinks that everybody deserves not to be in prison. I definitely know that there are people that deserve to be in prison, but I also I really feel like a lot of the people that are in prison, there's some other type of, I guess rehabilitation, but some other type of restriction that I think would be more productive, or the focus be more productive, or the gear up for them to come out home should be more productive. Like I feel like especially if drugs has been in any of your history, it should be mandatory.
Yeah.
Especially if you've gotten to come home on clemency, beating a 3-strike and getting to come home, that should be something that I think should be mandatory.
Yeah.
Just because it's not because I think that you need to have more people on your back. It's because you need more people to lift you up. This is a hard thing to do. It's not because I'm saying you cannot be trusted. I'm saying this is hard. So coming out here doing that, if you already have stuff that you're not dealing with, of course you're going to go back to that because you're going to need something to help you cope with this. Life is just lifing the crap out of us. And it's fast. It's way faster than the speed that you are used to. There's 10 and 20 things happening at one time. There's money that goes out. People do not care what your past or your history is. They want their money. So there's all these things that you're having to juggle all the time. I just think that if you have not dealt with that, especially like I said, if it was a drug and alcohol issue, of course you're going to go back to what is comfortable when it gets hard, if nobody's taught you new ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good word, babe.
Yeah.
That's good word. Preach. I mean, and it hurts being out here, and for decades, this become like, I don't want to say fam, but it's definitely like really, really, really good friends. People that you made plans with to do things on a positive level when you got out, and it just not materialized because
we've had dinner. We went out to dinner and we'd had drinks and like really we're trying to be a part of each other's lives, and then it just.
And the cool part about it is like P squared or P2, he ended up getting with a woman that was in the life like that, and I love her. She's the sweetest person in the world. Don't get it twisted, but I'm saying he didn't recognize that that's not good for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Like those are the type of things that if he had been through a real course that highlights not only the traumas he's been through, but highlights the traumas he's done to other people and what you cannot be around. The very first thing they tell you is social situations is the thing that's going to bring you down.
Yeah.
And he no matter how sweet she is, he shouldn't have been in that situation.
I think that I've never had a drug problem, so I don't want to act like I know. I just feel like a lot of times what I see, it seems like, okay, you came in with this drug problem and you've been in prison or whatever, and you thought, okay, so I came in at level 0. I'm coming out. I'm gonna be up here at level 3. So I got a couple layers. I got this pad, and I'm good. When really you should be at a level 30 because you need that many pads before you get back to 0. 3 is not far to get to 0 again, and I think that's what it is they think that they have enough space or enough, I don't know, experience, enough sober time, enough whatever. It's like, no, see, I'm at 3. I'm good. I was at 0. And they think 3 is progress when really 30 is the progress and you're only at 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
And that's hard to make someone understand that, though, when they think that they've got it so under control. And you're like, yeah, but
the thing is, the thought process that they have it under control, they be thinking they're at 30.
Oh, that's
they be thinking they're at 30.
So what is the get through?
It's a reality check. It's almost like, when some of my boys call and they be talking about what their plans is when they get out.
Yeah.
And I can't tell them anything. It's almost like that. It's like you got a guy who thinks he's at 30. What are you gonna tell him?
So what he means by that, we have our guys that call still, and we love them to death, and they'll call, and I'll always, because I'm the social worker in me is like, okay, so what are your plans when you get out? What have you been doing? What are you working on? And they all tell me what their plans are, and they're just these plans. They're not really plans. They're just ideas and dreams, and they're very lofty. There's not a lot of like, I don't know, just framing.
It's not a lot of structure to it.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, I share what I can share, but then I also am like, well, you might want to consider this is what your boy's been going through, and this has been a struggle for him. So maybe you should think about this. And then even Babe will be like, well, it's not really like that because I'm out here. And he's telling them as someone doing it right now. And they will be on the phone with us telling us why he's wrong. Yeah. Why he don't know what he's talking about or how they can do it better. Well, and I'm just like, the last one, I was like, sir, how are you telling him that when he's doing it? He just got home from doing it. He just got home from doing it, and struggle or not struggle, I'm doing it well, and I'm telling you. And and they just still, oh no, for me, I got the. It's like I don't know what else to do.
What's funny is, and this is why I be trying to, even when I was inside, I was trying to get my guys to stop doing this. A lot of their plans they're shouldered on their lady having to do something when they get out for them. Or somebody that's supporting them having to do something for them when they get out. So they're making all these plans and incorporating the person that they're calling every day. And the person they're calling every day don't even know your life about to change because you about to be life and helping this fool.
Exactly.
And I try to tell them, like, try to be as self-sufficient as much as you can. Listen, I came home. My wife has helped me in so many areas. Just today, she helped me out on the computer to do something that I couldn't do. I still can't do 3 years later from being home. Partially my fault because I was kind of standoffish on the computer when I first got home, but it's neither here nor there. But their ideas are based upon somebody, usually a woman that's supporting them, who's already struggling to support them in prison. Now they got to put money into their idea, or they got to put 20 hours a day into their idea when they already got a full-time job.
Here's what really happens a lot. That woman is making it happen. She's making her life happen, and then she's making his little dream happen too. And he's not giving no credit that she's the one doing all of it. He thinks because he wrote a little letter or wrote a little proposal or sent her, hey, this is what I want to do. He thinks that he's really running the show when baby girl over here is raising kids, working, paying all the bills, and trying to do your little business that ain't making nobody any money. I'm not saying little like it is diminishing or like it's not important, but in the grand scheme of things, you come out thinking, oh, see, I got this business, or I got this thing, or I'm about to be doing all this stuff. You, sir, have done nothing. She's doing all of the things and helping you get this going. So where the onus needs to be is like, me and my partner or me and my wife, we would like to, if that's what she wants to do. But a lot of times they haven't had that discussion. They just are talking about what they want to do. And then they get her all wrapped up into it because she's trying to save her mental space because he's just in her face all the time about it. And so that's all. Now they're thinking because, oh, she made it happen and I could do it so much better. And I got all these other ideas. They just think that it's that easy. So sometimes I think that when we're trying to encourage you and support you and want you to have hope and happiness and, feel like a part out here, I think that's great. I think all that's important. But I also think we have to paint a very realistic picture for them and let them feel some of the heartbreak and some of the harshness that comes with starting a business or running a business or just running your life, because we make it look easy. And that's how they're basing it off of us, how we're making it look for them.
Well, at the same time, but based on what you were just saying, because I was really going to make that point, is like a lot of times if a guy writes down this proposal, first person he shoots it to is this girl. And his girl is letting him know, like, babe, that's dope. That's filthy. Now, she's not saying that this is
what I want to do.
No, she's not. What she's saying is she's not telling him that what you just sent me, what I just read, is in this infantile stage.
It's just an idea.
Yeah, it's in this infantile stage. She's supporting you, but then you take what she said and your own ego involved, and then when you talk to me, you're telling me you starting this thing, you got this thing going based upon that. And
now you're upset because things aren't going up so fast because she ain't moving as fast as you want her to move because she got real life stuff to do. Mm-hmm. But you're acting as though this is going to make or break your life or make or break her pocketbook.
Right now.
And
you still got 10 years left.
10 years left and not one dime.
No. Hold on. So you got 10 years left. You've sent her this. You're on her every day about doing this. Mm-hmm. So you got all this time left. Who the fuck you think is going to be doing all the work? Who is going to be doing all the work? This idea that you got on paper, who you expect to be doing all the work? It's going to be the woman. Shout out to all the women that support knuckleheaded, think they smarter than actually are cats in prison. Now listen, don't get it twisted. I'm not downing nobody that has an idea and that's trying to put their best foot forward. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a way to approach every situation, and when you're doing it with somebody that you love, there's a consideration that's supposed to be involved because we do the consideration thing in prison, as I alluded to earlier. There's a consideration that's supposed to be involved that a lot of cats don't have, and you don't even know you pushing people away. But at the same time, you look like a damn fool.
Well, I also, too, ladies, like, one thing Babe always said to me, that what he does in prison is what he's going to do out. And one thing my mama always said to me is how you start it is how you going to end it. So the two things, what he always did in prison is what literally his routine, his drive, his get up every day, all of the things he did bring that routine, that structure and discipline home.
Thank you, babe.
And I appreciate that because he followed through on that. I also will say that when I started with you, I was a lot younger. I was still learning my voice. I was still kind of just figuring out prison and how to do it and hold you down and support you and all of the things. And sometimes in that, I did lose my what?
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of times that happens. It's not because it's necessarily manipulation. I think that we're just so busy trying to make sure we hold this man up and we support him and want him to keep that hope because we want him to get out of there and want him to get out of there better than he was and don't want him breaking or cracking or, all those things. So you do say yes a little bit more. Or you might want to spare his feelings more with some of the ideas that he comes up with because you just want to encourage him. And I do think that's still necessary, but I also think that it's like, when those forms come back, let's just say if forms are coming back and things need to be filled out, send those to him. Let him see that those are the forms and that's the information that we need. So get the information and send it back to me.
It'd be worth it.
Because you're going to have to help him, but it can't just be, oh, I need those forms. Because now it's on you. He's not taking any of that because he doesn't even know what it is because they don't have the computer. They're not sending them all of the documents. They're not asking for the things. So as much as we're trying to take off of them, I think that it helps that we include them in as much of it because they're going to be out here. And you want a partner. You do not want a child. So you want someone to come out that can be your partner. And to do that, he's got to know what he's doing. And if we're just giving him pieces of it or we're doing a lot of it for them, while in all of our heart, we think that we're helping them. I think that it sometimes does a disservice because it gives them a false sense of what reality is.
Preach.
Especially if they've been down for 20-something years.
Preach.
It's a whole different world now. So, I don't know, just a little tidbit.
Yeah. No, and to follow up on that, ladies, and it's not just ladies, but I'm speaking specifically to them because that's been my experience. But there's some brothers out here that supporting other brothers in prison also, and props to y'all. But ladies, please understand this. Support is one of the biggest things you can give to these brothers in prison, but the biggest thing you can give them is a reality check before they come home. And I think a lot of elite people I know ain't getting that reality check because they wouldn't be talking like they're talking if they was getting that on a daily basis, honestly. They living in a fantasy world. Prison will do that to you because it's like a horse running a race with blinders on. You can't see nothing but what's right in front of you every single day in prison. And understand when you get out here, there's everything coming at you. Everything coming at you at once, and you have to deal with it.
You can't let them just think they're right. I know that sometimes for us, it's just to save our mental. And to save the energy the little bit of energy we have.
And you got 2 minutes left on the phone.
And you got...
you know that's part of it.
You got 2 minutes left on that phone. But literally, I think that sometimes we need to just be like, sir, that's not how it works. Yeah. And I'm not gonna play this game with you because I'm now feeding this to you. I'm making you think this is how it works. And it's really just going to make my life a little bit harder. So if that's what you want, here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do what you can. Yeah. I can help with that, but I'm like taking it all on. Unless you plan on doing that from here on out, I don't suggest to do that.
Yeah.
And that just might mean that some things we just have to put on the pause until you can get out and actually do it. 100%. Because you, woman, I'm talking to the ladies right now, in this, you have got to preserve yourself because this is a long race. So you can't just, jump in and be 100 for 20 years. That's not going to work. You're going to have to really pace yourself, and you're going to have to make sure that your man understands what this is. It can't be just me doing and you benefiting. This has to be a mutual thing. It has to be beneficial for both of us. I need to get something out of this too, because you're just as important as this relationship as they are. And I think because they're in prison and they are taken away and they don't get to do all these things, and we love them so much that we try to accommodate for the things they miss. Yeah. It's not realistic to do for a long term, and to still keep yourself full. You know what I mean? Like, you got to preserve yourself here, because at the end of the day, he's coming home and you want to be a whole woman when he gets there. You don't want this system and the prison to just eat away at you, because it already will. But you don't want to be a shell of this woman when he gets home, because, he's kind of beat you down a little bit, and then the system and all that stuff, like, you got to stick up for yourself and just kind of set your boundary, you know?
I mean, like what you were talking about earlier, like I do say, whatever you do in prison is what you're going to do when you get home. If you can't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning in prison, you're not going to do it on the streets. It's not going to happen, right? At the same time, you ain't filling out no forms in prison. How the hell you think he going to fill them out when you get home?
Exactly. That's my point.
Like, so to your point, there's a lot of things that as the supporters, you guys can be a catalyst in their reintegration, if you will, by that reality check and giving them stuff. Like, I don't get it twisted. There was times that, like she said, she felt like she lost her voice. There was times she did a lot for me that I probably could have did for myself. I think a lot of people that are in support mode right now don't do it because you've never been in this position before, so you don't know what it looks like when you come home. We're telling you, if you're in that position right now, you're doing it that way, as far as doing everything for him and not giving reality checks, that's going to be your reality when he comes home.
Exactly.
Period. And
I know that it's all out of good. It's in hopes of just being, good to your man and to try to help him. But I don't think it always helps. I think, of course, we do have to help them. But I think that the reality comes, and when they see what work it takes and that they don't know how to do it, I also think that will, hopefully, if he can get to that point, will provide him with some humility and more appreciation for what you're doing. Because they don't know what you're doing every day. They don't know how you're busting your ass to just do the basics. And they think that what they're getting is just so normal. And they don't know what you had to do to get that money on the phone. They don't know what you had to do to get the money to go to the visit. They don't know what you had to do to get the outfit to go. They have no idea what goes around or goes before and after. All they do is see when you show up and you're looking fly. And when you show up and answer the phone, and when you show up and send back their paperwork, and you show up and you do all these things. So you're just making it happen. And they think that's just what it does. You just, because we're doing that. So
put your finger on my phone.
We can make it look easy, but, and I mean, of course, if you really doing your thing, that's what you're supposed to do. But I think also you need to let your man know, like, but this is where I need you to help me. And this is why this isn't easy. And even if you're doing it, let him go through these steps with you. Like, he needs to see what you're doing for him so he can appreciate it.
And not only that starts the partnership.
That starts the partnership.
Yeah,
it's
the
not,
true partnership.
Doesn't have to fall all on you. And
100%.
Like the other day, we had a little situation where we were both doing something, and I was like, yeah, but remember me over here?
Yeah.
We were both doing something that kind of benefited him, but we didn't get to the part that was going to benefit me. And I had to come back and say, like, yes, we did this, and I think that's great, but where am I at here?
Because it was multiple things that needed to be done for me in that stance, and you did more than one thing. And then I had thought about you, but then something came up
that was about him.
Yeah, and that was about me. Something came up, and then I didn't go back to it.
Exactly.
And I felt bad for the simple fact that I didn't go back to it with the same oomph that you approached my situation with. And y'all,
but when I showed you what it was, and you realize what it was, you did get the oomph.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't have shown him, he'd have kept doing business as usual.
Yeah. So
I think that we have to take a little bit of accountability in making sure they know what our expectation is too, you know? And when they don't get it right, finding the time to go back and be like, okay, so this is what I really needed in this situation. This is what you gave me, but maybe next time could I get some more of this, you know? Yeah. But I think that when they have their ideas and you being collaborative with them instead of taking it from them will help them really see what being a partnership is, because now they're invested too. And it's not just you doing everything for them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. Okay. So that was the nice version, even if it didn't sound like that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? To lay you down, make you want to slap your mama version is this. Supporters, if y'all doing that, you stunting your man's growth. And individually and collectively as a couple, where he's supposed to be growing with you, you're stunting his growth by not including him, not giving him reality checks, not making him do his part. Even though he can't do 50%. Acknowledge. Can you acknowledge that we can't do 50%, but he can do 35. He could do 30. And a lot of times we only do
hold him accountable for what he can do, because that's the other thing. When guys are in prison, you're always like, well, he can't do this and he can't do that. But there's small things, but there's things that he can do that shows he's in it. Whether it is, I don't even know. There was just certain things that you would do that was like, okay, that just let me know you were in it with me.
Yeah.
But just making sure that like you are getting a little bit of what you need from this too. It can't just be all about him, because it's going to suck you dry. Yeah. And then you're going to be resentful. And then
not know what to do with it, because now you're resentful, but now you're also in a position where I've been here this long and I don't want to give up because it's a waste.
Now you just kind of stuck.
Now you stuck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you definitely have to do your part, ladies, and let them know and give them that reality check.
But kudos to y'all, because we know that the only reason the sun goes round is because we don't over here doing it. So good job. Continue. I give much respect and love and props to y'all. And I, of course, you know you got a part in my heart, because it don't matter if you visited one time or 757 times. I know what it takes to go to visit. I know what it takes to put money on that phone and pick it up when you don't feel like it. I know what it takes to be a prison somebody when prison sucks. So you always will get my support for that.
100%.
Or my respect. So
mine too, respect.
All right, babe. Well, that was kind of deep.
That was deep.
A little bit. This was a little bit longer than our normal episodes, but I hope you guys will get something out of it.
Yeah,
something useful.
You know, this is for everybody. This is for the people who've never been in a situation, just for your knowledge. But the people that are trying to reintegrate successfully as a couple or individually, please understand we hollering at y'all, and we serious about that, because your success means better communities, and better communities mean that we got strength going forward.
Absolutely.
And we're not just coming back to these dilapidated communities. And I'm talking, when I say dilapidated, I'm not talking about the physical. I'm talking about like emotionally and mentally dilapidated, and they have nowhere to go and no option. And then you walk back into that, and what are you going to be? The same, you know? And so it starts with, I'm telling y'all, a lot of times success comes from the love that's been given, and the support that y'all are giving is a constant reminder of love. It's drilled into us every day when you pick up the phone. It's drilled into us every day when you guys do favors for us. But more than anything, it's drilled into us when you show that you care by giving him a reality check on issues that he doesn't know about and he thinks he knows about. There's a lot of things that I thought I knew when I came home, right? And I thought I was a scholar at it.
And now I can be like, you remember when you said...
Yeah. You don't never let me forget it either. You don't let me forget it either. Yeah, you gonna cut that shit out. Now it's like, but it's seriously though, y'all. Reality checks, and I respect it. I'm a man, and a real man can respect the reality check from somebody he loves. That's what you're there for. And the cool part about it is, we ain't shy about giving y'all a reality check.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't shy about giving y'all a reality check or a check-in period. So y'all got to do the same thing to a man you love. It's not disrespectful. It's definitely a way you deliver the message. But I'm saying, like, you have to be real. Period. If you want success in your relationship.
That's across the board. It doesn't even just mean for prison. You got to be real with your man no matter what situation. If you are not feeling it, let him know. If he ain't feeling it, he should let y'all know. The communication part, everybody should really be getting what they need from each other. And if you're not, that's why we need to talk about it, because it can't be one-sided. So this isn't just prison talk. This is just love talk.
Yeah, for real. This is empowerment.
Y'all, we really want to just continue. You know, like, this is Black love here. We're trying to make this thing work. We're working at it hard every day, but we know that we're not the only successful couple. Mm-hmm. We know that there's a lot of other successful couples that have come through this and worse and are doing wonderful things. And I want to spotlight that part because you just don't hear that. Mm-hmm. Through the podcast, though, I've been so just grateful to be able to have met some of you ladies out here, along with some of your partners that are doing wonderful things and are wanting to connect with us and just do more of this type of work. Mm-hmm. So it's been great. Please continue to reach out and let us know. But like I said, if you know of a couple who's doing this reentry and they're doing it well, or they might have a few bumps, but they're still working at it, we'd love to hear those stories. I would love to eventually have guests on the show that can tell us kind of their story and what they've gone through and how they've made it work, because we're not the only ones. We just need to spotlight that more and showcase it. So whether you're here in Seattle and we can have you come here physically, or we need to like tap you in, like we could do that. Yeah, that would be ideal. So keep those stories coming. And then in the meantime, come check us out every Thursday. Mm-hmm. We drop a new episode, and then we're also going to start our Friday lives. So the day after the episodes start, we're going to do lives to just kind of recap what we talked about with y'all, just to get to know you better, build the community better. Haven't decided if we're going to do it on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok yet. Mm-hmm. So if you have a preference, go ahead and put that in the chat as well. 100%. But until then, we will see you back next Thursday. Please comment, like, share. And another thing, why aren't you subscribed? Rude.
Hit that button.
Hit the button. It's one red button. And then you can also share it out too. We'd love that too. But in the meantime, please come back. Thank you for being here. For sure. And we'll see you again next time.
And we're going to be here till fucking wheels fall off. Peace, y'all.
Bye, y'all.